More than 11 million Americans have neurological diseases, and traumatic brain injury continues to be prevalent for our returning soldiers. For the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at investing in neuroscience research. Hello and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Candace Kelley, and I'm joined by Congressman Chaka Fattah, Democrat from Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. First of all, the issue of neurological and brain injury. Talk to me about the status of it and why monies are needed to be invested in that research.
Well over 500 diseases and disorders of the brain, from Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia like Parkinson's or Huntington disease. We have other kinds of ailments that lead to blindness, loss of vision. We have Alzheimer's, bipolar diseases. So we were at a point where not only are they affecting millions of Americans, but that we were not making the progress we needed to make in terms of solving these problems. So I launched the Fattah Neuroscience Initiative, which is a all-encompassing effort by my office to get the federal government to focus on this. So we passed a language in an appropriations law that created a high-priority research effort at the federal government level for the first time ever, bringing all of the government scientists together and saying, we want you to lay out a path forward, and we'll fund it. We'll provide the appropriations. Their first recommendation is let's map the brain. Let's actually lay out these 100 billion neurons in between our ears, how they interact. There are over 1.5 trillion connections between them, their chemical interactions, their electrical interactions. We need to understand how a healthy brain works. We need to then dig at these diseases. How does Alzheimer's come about? How does bipolar disorder, how do young people, mainly young people, get to a schizophrenic state?
And many people may have heard the news and President Obama announcing this brain initiative. So what you did was really an impetus for that.
It laid the legislative framework, and we built bipartisan support on the Appropriations Committee to get this done, because there's almost no family in our country in which one of these diseases or disorders doesn't touch in some way. Depression, schizophrenia, dementia. But also, there's a lot to learn about education, for instance, pediatric brain development. How do young people learn? How can we create better teaching methods? And then for our veterans, over 40% of the soldiers who have been injured on the battlefield in the last 10 years have suffered traumatic brain injuries and what we call post-traumatic stress because these explosions rattle the brain and create essentially high impact concussions. And we need to understand more about how to appropriately treat that.
You have been amidst hundreds of scientists and researchers. What is the next step now in terms of getting monies and making sure that those research dollars go to where they need to?
This report is going to lay out a number of critical steps. So the first one was map the brain, but we're going to get now recommendations about creating better imaging tools. So we're all familiar with MRIs. Well, you can see about 40% of what you need to see, but if someone's operating on your brain, trying to remove a brain tumor, you want them to see 100%
Sure.
of what they need to see. And so we want better imaging tools. We need better diagnostic tools. There's no diagnostic tool available for dementia like Alzheimer's and others. Doctors need to look at you over multiple years to determine what might actually be going on. We need a quicker diagnostic tool that can say that you're being impacted by a particular disorder so that we can then work towards treatment. But the main thing we need is that we need research that focuses on human beings. In most research that's done on medical innovation, we have animal-type research, but it's not translatable for humans in terms of brain research.
All right, well, I want to thank you so much for being with us. Interesting work. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and thank you for watching.